Hello everyone, we're Team PacManGo. This project aims to decide agents to win Pacman competitions. The agent can control a fancy Pacman and defensive ghosts in a random map. The condition for winning is that the team eats all the food in the enemy area within the specific time, or get higher scores at the end of the specific time. We use two AI techniques, approximate Q-learning and A-star. We use approximate Q-learning to adjust the feature weight of the offensive agent. The continuous simulation competitions made the weight tend to be optimal. We use A-star to find the path to the boundary. Then we use it to find a new way to the other area if we meet the enemy in the boundary. Also, we use A-star to calculate the distance to the target. If an enemy's goal exists in the expected path, the distance of this path will be recalculated by plus a large value. Our offensive agent first uses A-star to search the path to the midline. When achieving the midline, if the Pacman does not detect a ghost, it will pass the midline. Otherwise, it will choose another port. After entering the blue area, the Pacman will eat the closest food and try to avoid ghosts. The Pacman with enough food will calculate the closest return path and go home. If there are ghosts nearby, the Pacman carrying with 6 or more food will go home. Otherwise, it goes to find a nearby capsule. If there are no more capsules, a Pacman carrying with food will go home when it detecting a nearby ghost. Otherwise, it just looks for food and avoid the ghosts. Our defensive agent first wander around the midline. Whenever the enemy is a red food, we can infer their Pacman location from the position of latest eaten food. Then our nearby ghost will move forward to it in the closest path. Both of our agents implement defensive strategy after 1100 moves, if they are in the red area at that time. We face a lot of challenges. At the beginning of the game, our agent moved to the nearest boundary. However, the initial coordinates of the two agents were so close that we moved to the same location, and the enemy could use one agent to block our two agents. So we changed the strategy, and the two agents would choose different boundary ports at the beginning. In some special maps, we find some paths are very deep with only one entrance. If our Pacman does not detect ghosts nearby and moves along this path, it is more likely to collab with the ghosts. Here, we define these paths as danger corners. We can find the coordinate of the danger corners and their entries by regard the corners with 3 words as words, and repeat the action until we could only find the corner without 3 words. Once a Pacman detecting a ghost, it will lead away from danger corners. We also find that we could not use the mass distance to calculate the nearest food distance, because we need to bypass the enemy's goals to eat food. Therefore, we use A-star to search for the path of nearby food and return the path length as distance. We will add a large value to the path length if there were enemy ghosts in the path. At first, we didn't realize that our agent could share their horizon with teammates, which means once an agent finds an enemy, the other one feels the same way. To avoid this problem, we add the distance of nearest ghosts in calculation to determine whether the agent needs to avoid the enemy. At last, we decided to start with 2 offensive agents. If our agents stay in the red area at the last 500 moves, we thought it was too late to offensive, so it became a defensive one. According to the observation, the competition results are greatly improved. However, we also ignore some special cases in our corner finding algorithm. Sometimes we didn't correctly identify the danger corners. If we can take more special cases into account in the future work, the performance of the agents will be better. In conclusion, our agents can implement offensive and defensive functions very well. Although we have experienced many challenges, we finally fixed them and made the agents more intelligent.